This is a journey connecting the music with the people that inspire us. You're listening to the Sounds of Success podcast with your host, Jim Lombardo. Brought to you by the Rising Tide Foundation. Let's jump right
in. You are pumped up today, buddy. I love it.
That's right. I'm all in orange. Yep.
I love it. Are you on your phone or what do you want?
I'm on a phone.
Oh my God.
Dude, I don't even own a computer. It's really bad.
Are you serious?
I'm not kidding.
That is off the grid. He has no electricity, anything.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Sacher! Dude, you're not even gonna believe who's doing some of the sound check stuff.
Who's doing the sound check?
I'm not kidding.
Who?
David Lee.
No way.
Yep.
Wait, the David Lee?
The David Lee. Dude, he's out. He was on LinkedIn. I told him I was doing this podcast, and he's doing all the sound check stuff. He's in the background. I end up talking to him a little bit.
My arch nemesis.
Yeah, it is your enemy. It's gonna be really hard to keep a straight face with you, buddy. It's really gonna be hard to be serious on this. To be serious on this one.
I agree.
Recording with us today is Jason Sacher, who's the owner and director of Sacher Tennis. Jason, welcome to the studio.
Thanks for having me.
I started out by saying there's no way I'm going to keep a straight face with this whole entire thing, but we're going to give it a shot.
Sound check. Check one, check two.
Yeah, okay, good. We're going to reveal a song that we think captures you, your nature, which is bizarre, right? And your personality. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
We're going to go back to 1999. The Battle for Los Angeles album by Rage Against the Machine. Okay?
Okay.
It's the third song off that album. And the song for you, Jason, is Calm Like a Bomb.
Well, I guess the honor's all mine.
And I have to tell you, I searched very long and very hard through a database of thousands of songs that I have to find the right match. So here's my question. Calm Like a Bomb. Did I nail it?
I think you nailed it.
Really?
I think you nailed it.
Are you familiar with that song?
I am not familiar.
Okay.
But but just from hearing it, I think it's pretty accurate.
That's you.
Yeah,
okay.
That's me.
We got a good sound check? Okay,
fine.
Perfect. David Lee, thank you very much. You seem a little bewildered right now, Jason.
Oh, I'm great.
Okay. All right. Okay, Jason. In a single sentence, how would you describe Sacher Tennis?
I would say that it's a systematic process geared for success.
Wow.
For any individual, any age, any playing background.
Tennis.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
All right. And how would you describe your role?
Well, my role is to lead those that I instruct, those that work under me, and towards achieving their goals and objectives.
Do you
no
remember,
matter what they may be.
Do you remember when we were on the court together?
I do. I do remember that.
Do you remember that?
I do. I do remember someone that has absolutely no playing background, no knowledge whatsoever, comes on the court, says they're going to crush me. Someone who does this for a living, someone who has played this their entire life, and continuously, despite losing, despite not even. I think there were many moments you didn't touch the ball. I don't even know if you touched the ball. Still kept talking smack. Every point, every rally, every hit.
Okay. Hang on.
All right, Jim.
Yes, David.
Let's lay down track one and get that backstory.
We are good to go. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Old Brookville, New York. But when I was 14, I moved to Florida. I played tennis really seriously. as a junior, and bounced around from Florida, South Carolina, even trained in places like Romania, Belgium.
Wow.
So I didn't have the typical high school, child, experience that most kids have.
So just thinking about the childhood experience, certainly moving away, tennis was a big part of your life.
Yes.
On a scale 1 to 10, how would you rate your childhood?
Compared to most people, I was pretty fortunate to be able to do what I love, and it definitely could be lonely at times, and that I was just so dedicated to tennis and didn't really didn't even think or make an effort to make friends at that time. So it was kind of isolating, but at the same time, I wouldn't trade it for anything because I think it shaped and molded me into the person I am today, and gave me experiences which enabled me to become tougher, more mindful, and more disciplined as a result.
So let's just put this in perspective here. It's hard for someone who hasn't done what you've done to move away at a young age, to be away from your home, your parents. I would think if you're moving away from home and going to a tennis camp, you're not as good as me, of course, but but I would say you've got a skill level. So try to paint a picture of who you're playing with, who are you surrounded with.
I was ranked as high as top 100 nationally. I was top 10 in the Eastern section, which is New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. Throughout every age group. But I also would along that. But while I wasn't number one in the nation, I was training with players that were like I had this guy Wayne Odesnik who got to, I believe, 70 in the world. He was there. There were other players that were top 10, top 30 in the country. That would come in and out.
Give us some names
each day.
Give us some names.
Wayne Odesnik. There was this guy. I'm sorry, Bear Co. She was number one in the world as far as a junior. I'm trying to think. Michael Russell. He was a top 50 ATP professional. He actually lived with him a little bit. He's now the coach of Taylor Fritz.
Huh. So you're playing with legit people. This is the real deal.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you just so focused on tennis that you're not thinking about anything else? Or was there anything else you were curious about, maybe thinking about?
No. Well, let me ask you a question. Knowing me the way you do, do you think I thought anything else other than
No,
tennis?
I don't.
I mean, you just played the song for me, right? So
yeah.
No, but in all seriousness, no, absolutely not. I was just so focused on just solely trying to be the best that I could be, and I was too much of a perfectionist, which, if anything, I think might have even worked against me because I was just so honed in on every stroke, every the way I was positioned, my movement, my the way, if I was agile enough, and so I was constantly trying to fix and improve my craft.
How'd you do that? Were you coached to do that, or were you doing it on your own?
Yeah, I was coached on that, but also I think it came from within. It's just kind of how I'm wired. I look for when I am really passionate about something, I obsess about every little detail.
Interesting.
And
that I didn't know.
I'm not sure I believe that, but
well, maybe we'll get into a story of obsession a little bit later because that is truly one of the greatest stories of all time. It has to do with dress shirts.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Dress shirts?
Yep.
Dress shirts?
Yeah,
We're
dress
going to
shirts.
get into that. Yeah, that's fantastic.
OCD came out a little bit there. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's no question you're focused on tennis. I want to get into kind of how that transition, but we're going to get there in a minute. Did you have any jobs growing up, or was the job tennis? Did you ever deliver newspaper? Did you ever have I could see you at a custard stand.
Custard stand. Wow. That's talk about random, but all right, I'll take it.
Did you have any of those jobs?
No, I didn't have any of those jobs. I was fortunate enough, where I didn't have to work until really the summer before college. being able to play tennis, it was a pretty, pretty nice summer job to have.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'd imagine there's a lot of pressure in that too.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But I do think getting a taste of that actually, uh, propelled me forward in terms of what I do now.
Yeah.
Had I not done that, yeah, maybe I would have just been, the prototypical doctor, lawyer, stockbroker, and
Well,
just done that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but but for me, I guess that wasn't the path that
yeah.
that I was destined to go on.
Let's talk about influences. Did anyone or anything have a real influence on you growing up? I think I know the answer to these questions.
I would say you, actually. Yes. I would. I think you had a profound impact on me. And so just.
This is my podcast, by the way.
I mean, well, I got to butter you up a little bit along the way.
Okay, all right.
So, I mean, I can't just spew out other names and not mention you. But no, in all seriousness, I think it was apparent right from the start. We just gelled, and while I was a much younger, more immature version, but nonetheless, I think I was I was a much less seasoned version of you, and I think you saw that in me. And
I have to say, I've truly never met anyone with the focus that you have. I really, truly have never met anyone. You are a one of a kind. Calm like a bomb, man. Calm like a bomb. Okay, so I'm curious. I think you've done this. Do you ever lie to your parents?
No, never.
Really? Wow. I didn't think. I knew you didn't, but
no,
I know you did. I know you did
of that nature.
But if you could think of one lie, big one, not like you look good, not that. What do you think made you do it?
Maybe I would say pressure. Not wanting to let them down.
Interesting.
I don't like to let people down. That's
is there you have an example of one specific?
I might have lied about a score one time when I played a match and I got killed, and I played just like crap, and I had to report back what happened. I think I made it sound better than it was.
Yeah.
I felt bad about
it already.
Who was this?
You told your parents? Was it your parents?
Yes. I think it would have been, and it was my dad.
So we're gonna get into this a little bit more. Did you feel a lot of pressure from your parents while you were playing tennis?
Yes, definitely.
Why?
Felt a lot of pressure. I think the fact that my dad was self-made and he's a successful doctor, and he's has that blue collar mentality. Really, works hard. Has worked hard his whole life and earned everything he has. I wanted to, not only be on par with that, but exceed that. And I don't even know if it was necessarily coming from him directly, but I put that on myself to embrace that mentality of of wanting to be the best I can be.
I would think that there's a economic investment too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, I would imagine it's like, all right, Jason, bye.
Yeah, no, it's an expensive sport. It's a very expensive sport. There's a lot of investment. There's a lot of time. There's a lot of dedication. It's not just you as the player. It's, really like the whole family has to be invested in it.
Yeah.
And they have to, not only do they have to travel with you, do they have to, make arrangements? Like, obviously you have to have the resources to pay the coaches. But then it's also, it's pre-match, it's post-match, it's going through the trials and tribulations of winning and losing, going through the adversities. Those are, there's a lot of talks.
You're not an only child either, correct?
No, I'm the middle child.
Okay, so how did your tennis impact your siblings, or did it?
It did.
You ever talk about it?
Yeah, no, not really, not too much. But I would say so. My brother, he was a good player himself. I did get
more of my.
I mean, not that level, but he did all right for himself.
Okay.
Yeah, no. So my brother actually, I remember there was a summer where he was kind of raw with his game and whatnot, and coaches he had prior, like I didn't really, hone in on those little details, which would enable him to really propel his
Yeah.
game. And I was really tough with him, and I was so focused, you know, driven to get him to be fundamentally sound. But he didn't have the mentality that summer. And in terms of like he was always more talented than I am. But when he was young, he didn't have the work ethic, which he later developed. But I took the responsibility to instill that in him, and that's not an easy task because when you don't have it, it's not just
Yeah.
it's not just like, okay, let's work harder. You got to work
Yeah.
harder. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Some people respond. It's possible, but it wasn't there, and that drove me insane. Um,
Being
so
disciplined like you were, I would imagine that I can totally see that. I
yeah,
can see that.
yeah.
So let's talk about a turning point.
hmm
What led you to starting Sacher Tennis?
Tennis has been my life. It's been my blood, my passion. Everything that I invested everything I could as a kid. I gave up, sacrificed quite a bit, and it's ultimately it's the one thing I truly love and I truly know, inside out. And so right before college, actually, I hurt my Achilles, and so I could have played at a good D1 school, but at the time it was just, there was a lot of uncertainty with how I would fare physically. But it dawned on me in 12th grade, you know what? I'm kind of stupid. I need to learn. I think I need to become a little smarter. And so then I made a commitment, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna read over 100 books in this year. And so I did that. I read a wealth of topics from history to finance to um,
What's this? Senior
entrepreneurship.
in college or
This
senior in
was
high
Yeah,
school?
I was a senior. Yeah,
Senior
senior
in
in high
high
school.
school or college?
I'm sorry. This was in high school. High school.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Um, and I just a wealth of different topics, and I think that really gave me all the knowledge I could possibly, have, going into college. And I've just been, a voracious reader ever since. I've just been really hungry for knowledge. I always want to look to improve myself, in any way I can.
So, Jason, that is great initial context and a great first start.
Track 2, Sound of Now.
Jason, I have to think that you're not the only tennis instructor slash tennis system that exists.
hmm
So, how do you differentiate yourself in a market that seems pretty crowded?
I'm someone that really hones in on the fundamentals, the most cutting edge methods in terms of footwork, strategy, movement, stroke production, all those things combined, and it works for all ages and playing backgrounds. But ultimately, you can't cheat the fundamentals.
Yeah. So, what happens behind the scenes that your clients don't even know about?
I'm constantly reviewing, I'm constantly analyzing each lesson, not only during each hour, not only during that time, but afterwards as well. So it's not just about you go on the court and you perform. No, it's about you have to prepare before and afterwards as well.
Yeah. Do they realize that you do all that work?
No, I don't really share that because I think it's kind of part of it goes with, it's my responsibility. You're paying me for a service, and I take that I take that very seriously, and so I want to provide the best, quality and product that I can.
Yeah.
I don't think
Makes
I should
sense.
be rewarded for doing what I should be doing.
Makes sense. Let's talk about a little bit of advice. But we're going to go to the opposite way. Do you ever get really bad advice?
Do I give or get?
No, not you. You only give spectacular advice. Did you ever receive any really bad advice?
Yes. Yes.
What'd you do with that advice after you realized, man, this wasn't the way?
I've made I've listened to it before, but I would say, of course, and made those mistakes and regretted it. But I like to just inherently, I like to listen to a lot of different opinions and analyze. Ultimately, I make my own decision, but I do like to hear both sides, because I don't see, if you're just being told what you want to hear, how do you really formulate a good opinion?
Yeah. Yeah. But any advice that's ever steered you wrong, you went down that road and then be like, oh man, I gotta backpedal and get
I've
back.
made the mistake where I left a job, and this is prior to me starting my own business, and I did it because, I thought this is a resume builder, and instead of, okay, the situation I have is pretty good, and I can build this. I can stay where I am and be happy. Um,
Is that your
I
nature?
To stay where I am and be happy.
Yeah.
Probably not. Probably not. The grass is always greener on the other side. A lot of times.
So, what do you think is more important? Resilience or adaptability?
I honestly feel they're pretty equally important. You have to be adaptable, that's for sure. You have to always look look to look at yourself in the mirror and look at what you're doing right, look at what you're doing wrong, because even when you think you're right, you can not be doing things the right way.
So how do you
Um,
how do you cultivate that? If they're equal, how do you cultivate resilience and adaptability?
I think resilience really comes from within, and I, from my experience, especially when you're starting out, you there's just so many unknowns. How you haven't done it before, so why, but you have to have this inner belief that, and I think just um an attitude of, okay, no matter what, I'm just gonna make it work. I'm gonna do whatever I can, and if I fail, if I fall flat on my face, so be it, and just be willing to live with the consequences.
At what point does falling flat on your face just not an option anymore? Right?
Yep.
I mean, economics certainly factor in,
Right.
right? Your level of risk changes. So, how do you think
Mhm.
about that?
There's a saying where, stop beating a dead horse into the ground, right?
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I fully get that, because I keep, sometimes, even when it seems dead, I keep going, but that's
Yeah.
in my personality.
Yeah.
Um,
It could be dead a little more.
it'd be a little more dead. Yeah. Maybe there's just a semblance of life there, maybe I saw a little twitch or something,
Do,
but
do you think that type of approach works against you?
oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I think it does, because eventually you have to know, and I think I've learned this, like when something just isn't right, uh it's in my nature to keep trying to keep, because, I could figure it out, maybe there's some way I can do this. I think that's a great asset. And it's important to have some of that, but you also have to be willing to walk away when it's not right,
Yeah.
and when you've exhausted every option, every outlet. I think for me, the way I'm wired, this is this is an asset, and it's one of my great detriments, is I will look to exhaust exact every option, every outlet,
Right, right.
no matter, when I really want something.
So, do you deal with self-doubt?
I mean, I'm Jewish. I have the neuroses. Yes. So
How do you handle it?
I'm a worrier. I analyze to the nth degree. So I think
I
I
prefer cerebral.
cerebral. All right. Thank you. I'll take that. I think ultimately, I've already lived the worst of it before it even happens in most of stuff. So
Right. Interesting.
yeah, and still doesn't make it easy. You still go, if something doesn't work out. But I think ultimately you have, there's a feel, you have to trust your gut on certain things and just roll with it, even if it doesn't feel comfortable.
Do you
You have
do
to
you
be
do you,
comfortable performing in uncomfortable situations.
can you block it out?
I
Self-doubt.
think to it. I think to a degree, in order to achieve what I want, but it's always there in the back of your mind. but
Yeah.
you kind of just have to take a Zen-like approach and acknowledge it, label it, but then just put it aside, realize it's there, and then if you want something that bad, you just got to go for it, though.
What about your own personal development? Let's talk about you're in great shape. Let's talk about physical. Let's talk about mental. Let's talk about spiritual. How are you developing these and juggling your own personal business? So we'll take the physical because I know that that's a big component for you. Anything
Mhm.
specific you're doing that might be out of the ordinary besides doing 10 push-ups in the morning? Is there a routine? Is there a routine? Is there a routine or anything that's working for you?
There is, yeah. I mean, I'm trying not to focus solely on the beach body look at this point. While it is summer season, you know, I'm not just recklessly lifting heavy weights and trying to get as big and strong as I can. Especially now, while I'm in my mid 30s, I have to embrace the Tom Brady approach, I would say, which is focusing on pliability and focusing on making your muscles long, soft, and primed. And so my workouts, the way they consist of what they consist of, I'm not doing heavy weights. I'm doing full range of motion exercises. I have to stretch. I have to warm up. I have to cool down. If I were a player, there's even much more I would do, but I try to take care of my body and do the things I do the best things I can, so I'm prepared. In my own job.
What about what about emotionally? What are you doing emotionally to kind of stay grounded? Anything specific?
Probably not enough because I mean I'm still single, but yeah, no. I would say, I'm a big reader, so I try to be stay on top of, getting as knowledgeable as possible and things that I'm passionate about. And just try to keep learning and keep developing. I think it's an ongoing process. I feel like I've learned so much, over just in the last, let's say, 5, 10 years, where, you just let's just talk about humility in itself.
Yeah.
Learning how to handle situations, learning, okay, did I do this effect? Did I am I looking at this properly, or could I look at it from a different lens?
Yeah.
I think those are really important things.
Have you had any really hard decisions that you had to make in the past couple of years? Like tough ones?
Uh, yeah. I mean, well, one, I would just say from relationships, right? Like in order to like get my business going, and I definitely had to. It consumed me, and I wasn't able. Like I remember I had a great girl. She was with me for almost 4 years. But it got to a point where I was just so focused only on work and couldn't give her what she deserved. And so, I was very honest about it all throughout, but I think it definitely impacted things,
Yeah.
so in order to do what I do, yes, and I think it's just in my nature where like I'm all in, you know.
Yeah.
I think I gotten better in the last number of years, but
Well, we're going to give an example of all in a little bit
yeah,
later because I think that's an important one to
yeah.
share with all your fans.
You talking about the
Yeah,
shirt
we'll get there. We'll get
story?
there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Did anyone ever give you some really meaningful advice that if you went back now and told them, man, you gave me some really great advice, they'd have no idea what you're even talking about?
I'm not sure they wouldn't know what I'm talking about, but I think one thing I've really had to learn is do things for yourself. Don't do things because because you're worried about letting down the other person. So like for example, my as a player, as a coach, and just from a business standpoint, I never wanted to let my dad down. So I think for me, yes, of course, I want to make him as proud as he could possibly be, but ultimately I had to really separate the two and realize, okay, first and foremost, I'm making this decision because this is right, not because I'm seeking approval and I don't want to let them down.
Anything you change? A path that you could have taken, just maybe even just curious how that would have played out?
Yeah, I would say, I always think back to my days in the financial arena, working with you, and I think about like what could have been. I mean, to this day, I think I definitely could have been really successful in it. Working alongside you and under your tutelage, but and so that's at times I definitely reminisce and think back.
Well, look, you're on the podcast, so you don't have to reminisce too long.
That's right.
So where do you see Sacher tennis in the next 5 years?
Um, well, I see it continuing to grow and to have and ultimately to have my own center in Long Island. And I think it's attainable. I think it's doable. It's just now just have to keep building and growing.
So would you say that's the next big thing for you, your own center?
Yes.
How far away you think that is?
I think within the next 3 to 5 years, absolutely. Something that's attainable.
Yeah. I mean, if there's anybody that can do it, you can. There's no question in my mind about that. So look, this podcast is about success.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you define success?
I think there's different definitions. Of course, financially could play a role in it, but I think for me, success is, I've learned to appreciate the fact that I do what I love and I've been able to follow my passion. So that in itself, I think is a big success.
When you look yourself in the mirror, are you successful?
I do think I'm successful, but I look at it like there's just so much more to achieve. Personally, it's like it's an unfinished product, so I don't really spend time thinking about that so much. Other than okay, what do I need to do next? That's more my mentality.
Yeah, makes sense.
Jim, this is really
Jason,
shaping up. Let's talk about liner notes.
Okay,
this is where your fans really get to know you. So before I even get into the question, do you want to take 2 minutes and talk about the Jason Sacher dress shirt tailoring event of the century?
sure. I think it's quite a story.
Go ahead.
So if ever I was trying to hide the fact that I have OCD, didn't do too good a job in this sense. So I was working in finance, and you introduced me. You were instrumental in this process. To dressing immaculately. Everything would be tailored, the stitching.
Look at me
everything.
now.
Perfect.
Look at me now. I can't even find a T-shirt to wear. Go ahead.
You put your time in. So anyway, so I took it upon myself to. I think I bought like 3 Thomas Pink shirts, which were these big Wall Street shirts at the time, and they didn't fit well. But I took them to the cleaners. I got them tailored to my
Not
body.
to the cleaners. It was
I'm sorry. The
tailor.
The tailor at
Right.
Which
Okay,
was at the
okay,
cleaners. I'm sorry.
okay.
I'm sorry. Yep. And so I did that. Okay.
What did you need to do?
I
What
fit it,
what did you
and
need
then-
to do? You want it to fit a little bit more snug,
Yeah. But this was
right?
I
No
mean,
bag,
after-
no bagginess is what you
no
want.
bagginess whatsoever. I didn't want to see any bagginess whatsoever. Okay.
With
So I did this once,
just to
and-
note, I want all your fans to understand there was no bagginess to begin with.
There was no bagginess whatsoever.
That's correct.
No.
A shirt couldn't fit any better off the rack.
No. I wanted it literally to be like my own skin. The
Okay.
way it fit, okay. That's what
Okay.
that's the way I wanted
Okay.
it.
So let me put it in kind of, how many times did you go back to this tailor / cleaner for additional adjustments?
13 times. It just wasn't
Okay.
right. It just wasn't right,
Okay.
I need
Okay.
first, first it was, it was fairly snug. Then, then it was maybe they took a little fabric out. Then they put it back in, then they took it out, and so then the cuff, I needed a little adjusting. Then like the arm length
13
maybe
times.
just wasn't quite right.
We got to rewind here. 13 times you had a shirt altered.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, for
I
all
would have
your
wanted
fans,
more, honestly, if they had
Yeah.
yes.
But what happened in the end? It was barely, you couldn't even button it. Is that ultimately where you ended up?
That's accurate. I remember I was sitting at my desk, and you rolled in, and you noticed, like, you looked right at me. I was wearing I took off my jacket, and so I was wearing the shirt. I'm sitting down, and you notice, like, you're seeing my hairy chest, just my chest hair
So you're not wearing any
outwards,
t-shirts,
out
which
of the
is
shirt.
interesting. There's
No, there was no
undergarment
undershirt whatsoever.
Okay.
No. And not to mention, my stomach was kind of like tucked in because I couldn't breathe. No, like every movement was almost Frankenstein-esque. I couldn't move.
Very,
couldn't move.
very Frankenstein-esque. That is excellent. Yes. You could not move.
Could not move. No.
Okay. So now you've ruined 3 expensive shirts, basically.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Ruined them.
Now we're gonna just
didn't have a lot of money back then either. So
no, that's true for 13 alterations.
Yeah.
Now, what was the commentary of the extremely tenured Taylor? Right.
Yep.
Easily 30, 35 years in the business.
Yeah.
So a lot of perspective from this Taylor. But then they meet you.
Right.
Okay.
So I remember the man, he was probably in his mid 70s, maybe even 80 at this point. He looks at me and he goes,
just say it. Now, what did he say to
told
you?
Me never in all my years has anyone made so many alterations.
A tenured, I mean, he's seen thousands of garments.
Yeah.
And has never seen anything like you.
No, I'm one of a kind.
Okay.
There's no way there's no way anyone would be as nuts. No.
Truly one of the best liner notes of an album ever.
Okay.
But now we're going to get to some other stuff.
Sure.
Think of the person that's closest to you. First name only. Who is it?
Marissa.
Marissa.
Yep.
Okay. If we ask Marissa to describe your quirks and weird habits, what would she say?
I think she would say over-analytical, overthinker. What else might she say? But she would say
over-tailoring.
She might say that too. Yep. Yeah. She's the one source I will trust, but at the same time I will ask her ad nauseum what she thinks about a certain situation.
Yeah, you trust her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not usually just one conversation. It's multiple conversations, which is exhausting, especially when she has 3 young kids as well.
Well, you're cerebral. So,
yes.
If you could instantaneously master any skill, what would it be?
I want to learn how to golf. Never learned it.
So, snap your fingers. You're a great golfer.
Yeah, a lot less effort. I mean, you walk around. I'm sorry. I don't mean to I don't mean to.
Well, you just lost all your golf fans that want to listen to your album.
I don't know what it's like, being a professional golfer, but I just always laugh, like, compared to you watch Djokovic, you watch Federer, Nadal on TV, you see what kind of mileage they put on their legs, right? And then you hear about guys like walking around a golf course and saying, like, yeah, it's very physical. It just, I'm sorry, I don't get that. I don't get, because these are also, that's what they do all day. I mean, I'm amazed, no matter how difficult the terrain, I don't see how they get tired.
I think
But I
it might
do
be.
respect
It
what
might
they
be
do.
off the
It is a
course.
skill.
Might
It
be
is
the
a skill.
work off the course.
Oh, no, it's a skill. It's definitely it's an incredible skill. I'm just saying physically, it's just when you compare it to that or any other really active sport, it just doesn't. It seems more like a game, like billiards or whatever. Not not an actual sport per se.
Okay, we gotta move on with that one.
Ball's not
Okay,
moving.
when you need to hit you personally need to hit the reset button.
Yeah.
What's your go-to zone out activity?
I just kind of pause, take some deep breaths, and try to recenter myself. If I'm hit with some adversity or just a little feeling a little anxious about something.
You're not watching The Bachelor.
I mean, I definitely zone out. I definitely,
This is
I'll
what
do
I'm
that
talking
once in a
about.
while.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You just need to completely disconnect.
Yes.
What are you doing? Taking a deep breath and then they go into bed?
No, it's not that simple. I'll do that, and then I'll get immersed in a book, or I'll read articles. I definitely binge watch, once in a while.
What's the last thing you binge watched?
I watched the with John Hamm. What was that? What's that? Friends and Neighbors.
Enjoy that?
It was pretty good. It's pretty good, but there's like one glaring, issue in that. So he basically he's a thief, and he goes into these rich folks' homes, and he bypasses the alarm. Okay, that's believable, but it just doesn't make sense how they have such crappy security systems. I just don't get it.
It is a TV show.
For me,
Yeah.
it just kind of ruins the experience. I want to
All right.
see a little bit realistic, but
All right.
you know.
Don't watch a Netflix. Okay. So here, dead or alive? Who do you have lunch with?
Kobe Bryant.
Why?
You
answered that fast.
Yeah, I think the Mamba mentality is the greatest thing I've ever read. Greatest thing I've ever heard. Not only was he supremely talented and one of the best of all time, but his grit, his toughness, his whole mentality. I definitely embrace what he stood for.
Okay, you've had a great lunch. Great conversation, but inevitably, the bill will come. Who pays?
I mean,
do you slide that
money
back? You slide it over?
I think I think you wait. You give him a little
grabs.
time.
To see who grabs. To see who
see who
grabs.
grabs. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he doesn't grab. He doesn't
grab.
grab. You're staring at each other.
It would get a little awkward, but I think.
So you're letting Kobe pay?
No. I'd pay. I'm always happy to pay.
But you said you would. You just said that.
I mean, he does make. He has quite a bit more money than I do.
Yeah.
So I find it a little strange he's not picking up the bill, but.
That would be strange. You are 100% right.
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of alluded to this one before, but for you, is it money or meaning?
Meaning. But money matters. It certainly matters. But definitely meaning. I would have done something else if it was just solely about money.
Yeah. Okay. Liner notes. Let's keep going.
Yep.
Best vacation you've ever taken?
I would say my trip to Italy.
Where in Italy?
So I actually did a trip alone where I started in Rome, then went to Florence, and then went to Capri, and then flew back to Rome.
What made it the best?
Well, I got a little, to be honest with you, I probably lost like 3 actual days of touring and, going around the city because I actually went on the trip with a thinly packed suitcase. And when I came back with 3, packed suitcases. One of them was marked oversized because I just went ape shit with I'm sorry if I'm not supposed to curse.
No, it's unfiltered.
Okay. All right. Good. Good. With the with the clothing.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And there
Untailored, I would
they
imagine.
tailor it.
Oh,
They style you they tell you, oh, it's this doesn't work or this work. Why don't you wear these shoes with it? And so
well, I think they saw
that
you
made the
coming.
experience for me. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was, to be honest, I had to get rid of the Amazon basics. Upgrade my wardrobe a little bit.
Okay. You're an avid book reader.
Mm-hmm.
What's the number one book that you would give as a gift?
Besides Ant and Bee, I would say Relentless.
Relentless?
Yeah, that's one of the best books I've written. I've read.
Who's, the author?
Yeah, Tim Grover. So he was the trainer for Kobe, LeBron, not LeBron, Michael Jordan, Dwayne Wade. And he
Great.
just talks about the mentality that that distinguishes the great from the good to the average.
Very nice. Okay, what about movies? What's one movie you think that everybody should see?
I think Rocky.
Interesting.
Maybe it's a little generic,
Yeah,
but
well, it's all right. That's a great movie.
but I just think, you talk about like from rags to riches and that kind of a story and like what went into it. I think it's
Who do you relate to most, Paulie? Okay, all right.
Polly. What the fuck? Polly.
All right, Jim, this is gold. What do you think about a bonus track?
Fans, they want more.
Which
They
fans
want
are we
more.
talking about? Do I have any?
After this album's released, you're going to have a lot of fans. No golfing fans, but you'll have fans.
Yeah.
So let's give them a bonus track. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Okay, so we started out this episode where we thought Calm Like a Bomb
Mm-hmm.
was a track that reflected you, your nature, and your personality.
Okay.
But now, those same fans, they want a bonus track.
Okay.
A song you think represents you. Drum roll, Jason, lay it on us. What song?
Eye of the Tiger.
Oh, so you go back to
I'm going back
Rocky.
to Rocky. I'm going back to Rocky. I'm in my motivation, age right now. So
Okay, so why Eye of the Tiger?
because I'm inherently relentless, and
Referencing the book again.
going back to exactly. It's pretty consistent with my book choice, right?
Yep.
From the time I was born, I was born actually with a vertical talus, where my foot was all out of place, right? It looked like this. I was told, or my parents were told that there was a good chance.
You should have said one left foot for the movie.
No, that's right, Daniel Day-Lewis. Yeah,
Oh,
my left foot, classic.
okay,
by the
go
way.
ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was almost picking up things with my toes. I wasn't so. There was a good chance I wouldn't. Not only would I not walk, but would be like carrying a cane my whole life.
Huh.
And so I think from a young age I was meant to have face adversities and struggle. And so I think it was sort of emblematic of what was to come. In
Yeah.
that it would never be just easy, right? But I could I could persist and get through,
Okay, that's great. So I think that's a great song, and I think that's a great explanation. So I'm going to give you a couple of fun facts about that song.
Mhm.
That song was specifically written for the 1982 album Rocky 3,
Yep.
where Rocky fights Mr. T, a.k.a.
Clubber
Clubber
Lang.
Lang.
Yep.
There you go. Stallone directed that movie and originally wanted Another One Bites the Dust, not Eye of the Tiger.
Interesting.
But Queen denied permission to use the licensing for the song. So he hired Survivor and told them to write a quote unquote street song, and Eye of the Tiger was born. The other thing that's very interesting is Survivor had two completely failed albums prior to Eye of the Tiger coming out. And the whole entire time, they basically, in interviews, said that they were 100% sure they were going to get dropped from the record label. But Eye of the Tiger ends up being a smash hit. It is licensed across the board. It is in unauthorized political campaigns and has been still a great, even when it's on the radio, I think everyone loves it. So great choice. Love it. Jason, and look, a perfect closing note for today. So a big thanks to Jason Sacher of Sacher Tennis. Thank you for recording your personal album with us today.
I appreciate you having me here.
It was our pleasure. I'll tell you, if there's one thing that seems like we all share, regardless of background, regardless of profession, it's a love of music. Music speaks to us when words fail. It gives voice to feelings, or it gives us a great beat to lift our spirits. Music continues to connect us in ways that we can't even imagine, and that's why that is the heart of this show. So until our next recording, I'm Jim Lombardo. This is the Sounds of Success, unscripted, unfiltered,